Hello viewers, welcome back. So this tutorial is going to talk about the reason why your trouser hip region is tight. Now, most people are facing this challenge and they are always asking for solution to that. So if this sounds like what you want to learn, kindly watch till the very end and don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel. So here I will make an illustration on the board to explain to you the reason of this. Now, first and foremost, to start with, these are the areas you must measure when making your trouser. So you have the measurement areas, right? Now, number one we have is the waist. Number two is the hips. Number three is the laps. Four is the knee. Five is the ankle. And six is the trouser length. Now, the reason I wrote out these areas on the board is for us to understand that you must take your time to measure all of these areas. Now, one important thing I want to let you know is that, for example, if your waist is, let's say, 35, for example, most people don't measure the hip. They say they use a tie in getting the hip. Yes, in some cases it works, but in also some cases as well, it doesn't work. So what do you need to know? You must understand the fact that you must measure your hip as while you're also measuring your lap as well. So these areas are important. You should not skip anyone. But in case the measurement is being sent, this is how you will get your real hip circumference. Now, the least difference between your hip and your waist is 7 to 9. This simply means that the difference from your waist to your hip could be 7, 8, 9, 10 and above, depending on the structure of the person. So it could as well, on a very safe approach, you will say if your hip was not given, you can add 10 to this to get your hip. So this is the minimum hip or the range of hip you can have for these clients. On no account should your hip here be 40. It's not possible. 5 inches lesser than bigger than the waist. It's not possible. Your hip should at least 7, 8, 9, 10 inches and above extra from your waist circumference. So this one could be 45. Now, the lap, the perfect lap measurement, the way you will get the perfect lap measurement is that when you divide your hip by 4 plus 2 gives a perfect laps measurement. So, for example, your hip is 45. Divided by 4 will give us 11 1/4. Plus 2 is 13 1/4. That's 13 1/4. Then times by 4, times by 2, times by 2. So this lap should be 27. That's the minimum lap you should get. Because if you times this by 2, is 26. This one is half. That's the range. So this video is showing you how to arrange your measurements in a very concise manner, that when you sew the trouser, you won't have any issues of being so tight or being so free. Now, the knee of this range should be around 18 to 19, ankle 14, thereabout. Then length of trouser is now your customer's choice. So now, why I just gave you this illustration first is for you to understand that measurement is of great essence when you are craving for perfection. If you don't take your measurement correctly, you will still have issues with whatever you are going to do or encounter. So the emphasis on measurement cannot be overemphasized. So you could as well, make do by watching all of my videos on how to take an appropriate male measurement, which I will try to put the link somewhere in this video. So you can click on it and watch how to take a perfect or an ideal measurement. Now, let's get into the main topic proper. I know some persons might not have watched to this very point, but those watching, just click on the like button, drop a heart emoji, tell me where you're watching from, so that I will be making more videos for you guys. Those that watch my videos to the very end, they tend to have more knowledge than the others. Now, I will draw a trial on the board and show you what this looks like. I will want to make it a professional drawing because I'm using my ruler. So here, let's take here to be the sideline of our trouser, right? And let's take here to be the baseline. And then let's take here to be our 2 inches for the hemming of the trouser. Now, and here is our length of trouser, right? Here is our length of trouser. Now, to get the crotch of this, which I have shown us several videos on how to get a crotch, which I'm not here to show you video how to get a crotch again. By now, you should have known how to get a crotch. So you get your crotch by the formulas I have applied in my previous videos, which I also tried to drop the link on this tutorial. Then you get the knee line, which I have also shown us. But if in case you have not watched that video on how to draft a perfect trouser, to get your knee line, you measure from the crotch depth to your ankle line, divide the distance into 2, and then come up by 3. So whatever you have, you apply, right? So let's assume that our knee line falls here. So we have our knee line properly marked. So here is our waistline. Here is our crotch line. And here is our knee line. Here is our trouser length or hem line. Let's use hem line. Hem, right? This is our hemming. Hem, right, of the trouser. Now, while from here to here is our trouser length. Trouser length, right? From here to here is our trouser length. Now, let me explain. Now, assuming you are given a measurement that is not correct, it could be easily detected by when you are drafting your trouser on your fabric. So let's see how it goes. So let's just assume that our hip falls here. Our hip by 4 falls here. Then plus extra 2 inches, right? Fine, extra 2 inches. Now this is our hip circumference by 4 plus extra 2 inches. Now, if you want to apply the waist of this person, there is no how for an adult, a grown-up man, there's no how that the waist value and the hip will tally. It's not possible for an adult. Now, you can only see this on children, kids. When you're making for children, that is when you will see their waist circumference and the hip measurement are corresponding. So what am I trying to say? What you will need to know is that the line that connects your waist to your hip should be slanted outwards. That's slanting in this form. That's slanting towards inside the hip and outwards to the inside the waist. Sorry, inside the waist and outwards to the hip. So assuming that our waist is here plus extra 1 inch, it falls somewhere here. Do you get? Now these lines can never tally. The hip part must be bigger than the waistline with extra 1 inch. Fine. Now you get the midpoint from here to here. You get the midpoint. So let me measure. So from there to there, we give us, here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So 2.5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2.5. Somewhere here is the middle, right? Then this midpoint will be taken straight down to your knee line, ankle line, and hem line. It goes in the center this way. So this line is gotten by the total distance from this hip point to the extra 2 inches. Divide this into 2 equal parts, get the middle, take it down to the hem. Now, when you get your knee circumference, divide your knee by 4. Divide your knee by 4. Now, whatever you have, let's say assume that knee is 20. So divide by 4, you have 5, right? So from the center point, you mark 5 inches here. From here, you mark 5 inches this way. So it goes on both sides. It goes on both sides, right? Divide the knee by 4. And also, divide the ankle by 4 as well. So let's assume ankle of 15. By 2 is 7.5. By 2 again is 3.75, right? So here, from here you mark 3.75. From here you mark 3.75. Having done this, then you will connect your line all through in this form. Connect your lines all through in this form. Then with a curve, okay, let's reduce the curve here. The curve here is much. So let's reduce the curve here. So let's just take it to be somewhere here and here, right? Fine. So with your curve, you connect from here with your hip curve to the knee line. Connect this one as well from here to the knee line. Then connect the waistline. The line must also be slanted. Please note, very important. So connect from here to this point. Connect from here to this point. Now, if you observe, I have not made mention of the lap. Why is this so? Because I told us that in every standard measurement, your hip over 4 plus extra 2 must be equal to your lap measurement divided by 2. So when you have marked your trouser this way, for you to cross-check if your measurement is correct, you will now divide your lap measurement by 2 and now look at if it will enter inside this point. So if this lap is not entering, that means your hip is wrong. Because there is every higher tendency for them or for you to make mistake in the hip value more than the lap measurement, because the lap is easier to measure than the hip, right? So it's easier for you to make mistake more on the hip measurement than on the lap measure. So in such cases, what do you need to do? You have to increase your hip value, your hip measurement, to contain the lap measurement divided by 2. So having said that, then once your hip or your lap is entering, there's no problem. Then from here, you come up by 2 inches. Some persons can as well mark the line to go all out and then make a curve that goes in this form. And then come down by half an inch and slope all through this way. Now, please note, in slanting of a trouser, the maximum depth you can use is 1 inch. Don't use more than 1 inch on the front panel so that the band will not be too much slanted this way. It should be a bit shallow like this, right? So use only half an inch or 1 maximum slanting. Then don't slant it to the edge of this right here. Don't slant it to this point. Slant it 2 inches or 3 inches off from the edge of the trouser. End it here with a curve. And that is how you draft your trouser. So by the time you are able to cross-check your lap measurement and your knee and your hip, and it tallies and it entered here, you won't have problem anymore on the trouser. So the back panel will now be raised by 2 inches. It goes all through this way. Then here, 2 inches as well, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches all through this way, and it will go all through this way. So the dots signifies the back panel of the trouser, while the marked area signifies the front panel of the trouser. So if you have derived value from this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. See you guys on the next one. Bye-bye. for now.